Thank you. Hello, everybody. It's Donna Cravata here with another wonderful woman over 50 with the Real 50 Over 50 Visibility Project. And today we have Pam Guyer with us, and she is pretty amazing, as all of our women are. And she is an author, speaker, a leadership and personal development expert, and she's been working and coaching women in business and life for more than 2 decades. And
Mhm.
I'm just going to hand it over to Pam and let her fill in any blanks that I left. If you've got anything to say, just put it in the comments, whether you're here live or in watching the recording, and we will both come back and respond and get in conversation with you. So, Pam, what else do you want to share?
Great. Thank you. Well, Donna, first of all, I want to acknowledge you in this program, and I'm grateful and humbled to be on with amazing leaders. I've seen some of the interviews, and I'm looking forward to the ones that are already scheduled. And I love the fact that you are bringing women together that are in their 50s, because certainly the 50-year-old, 50 plus version of Pam Guyer is a lot different from each decade. So thank you, because I do think it is our responsibility as women to
Yes.
role model and support the next generation, and to really lift each other up. So I want to acknowledge you for that. And thank you. I'm excited to be here with your audience. And as Donna shared, my name is Pam Guyer. I am going to give you a little bit of an introduction. I am married. I live on the North Shore of Boston, and I have 3 adult children, 2 boys in college, and then one daughter that graduated college and lives in the city and has a full-time job. And she's at that beginning stage of what I remember being at as a young woman. And so I am in this beautiful place right now, which is a new phase of empty nesting. And it's interesting because I am finally in this space where I am exhaling.
Mm.
And it's so interesting. And so you got me at a great time, I think, Donna, because as I thought about coming on and having a nice conversation with you, I thought, wow, it's really time, Pam, to write that news story,
Mm.
honoring every single phase along the way. So I'm so blessed. I've had a great career. My corporate career was in leadership development. I used to help with executives and creating onboarding for an international company with really smart people that had to learn how to communicate better and build consensus with their clients. And I had the good fortune of being with companies that had a strong, positive leadership culture. And then when baby number 2 came along, I just didn't handle the career and mom thing. So I became a stay-at-home mom. And that didn't work out too well. As much as I loved being home with my precious children, 3 babies in 3 years, I missed me. I missed Pam. I missed that passionate woman. I missed that woman that, was dynamic in front of an audience, that just loved building others up. And I fell into direct sales, which would not have been my career of choice. And it worked out incredibly well. And I've had a 20-year career as a top leader in direct sales. And I'm actually looking at transitioning out from building a business in that industry and really just focusing on the leadership and lifestyle of Living HIPP.
So now that brings me to my first question for you. Living Hip is happy, inspired, productive, peaceful, and it's all about creating a life that honors these 4 pillars. So can you tell us a little bit more about that, and like, what led you there? One of the things that I saw on your website is that you had gone from hustle to heart, and then that led to Living Hip. So if you can kind of like
Sure.
encompass all of that, that would be wonderful, because I think
Yes.
we're all looking for those things.
Right, exactly. And that was my midlife aha in my early 40s that I came about. So my history, Donna, and our to our audience, I've always had that hard work, that ability to create what I want in my life. Going against what people expected of me, from the college counselor telling me, you probably shouldn't, college was not my path and da 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 da. And I listened and I worked for less than a year and I said, forget this, I want to go to college. So I followed my gut. And what I want to remind all of us is that the best coach we have is ourselves.
Yes.
And when we go inside and we get clear and we trust that voice inside, that's where the magic happens. And it's not easy and it's a process, but that's how I created Living HIPP. So the history was, get a master's degree, have a corporate career, have success, have a family, get married, buy the new home. And
Mhm.
all of that was happening. And it was great at the time. Have the babies and then started in direct sales. And of course, attacked that like I did anything, full on hustle, hard work, promoted to the top of that business. And at the time, that was great. That's what I needed. But after working so hard my entire life, I always had to work harder. Later, I would find out that I had ADHD the entire time, that I also was living with anxiety, which I kind of knew, but I didn't. Those of us that are Gen X, we just didn't get diagnosed or deal with that stuff. We just kind of pulled up our bootstraps and
Did
marched
more.
on. And so once I hit 40, I realized I had a successful business. I was at this pause moment of like, okay, what's next? Not meaning career, but
Mhm.
I was burning it at both ends.
Yeah.
I was taking care of everybody. I had this amazing house, family, business, everything. What was missing was Pam truly taking good care of Pam.
Mhm.
So I went through this process of self-care and discovery. I got into yoga and I really went down a path of really discovering, well, what's important to me and how can I use my voice? I knew it was beyond direct sales. I knew it was beyond the company I was with. How can I use my voice, my passion, my experience, and what are women looking for? What am I looking for? And at the end of the day, aside from good health, we just want to be happy.
Yeah.
We want to be happy. We want to feel inspired. I love a life of inspiration. I live a life of inspiration. Now, is it inspirational every day? No.
Oh.
Life is mundane. I got things to do. I got people, but when I get caught in that cycle of monotony or everydayness or whatever it is, I know how to pause, how to breathe, how to take a time out and set my intentions
Mhm.
and to be inspired, because inspiration, if I didn't have inspiration in my life within myself and the people around me and the things that inspire me, I just wouldn't live the way I do. And the one thing I think that makes me different from many is, or a big part of my brand is my spirit,
Mhm.
is just, is there's this fire inside of me. There's this joy, happiness, and it's not all the time. It isn't toxic positive or any of that junk. But I think we get so afraid of that we lose out on the miracles every day. And they're with us every single
They're
day.
always there. They're always
Yeah.
there.
So that's really just finding that joy and that inspiration. And we need to be productive. But at the end of the day, we also want peace.
See, that's the one for me. I'm
Yeah.
always looking for peace. And let me ask you this. So that kind of encompassed how that happened in your 40s. When you hit 50, what changed? Because my belief, and one of the reasons I started all of this is, I'm not really a demographics person. I don't think that that really defines who we are. But something like indelibly happens to you when you turn 50, like
Mhm.
something physiological happens in your body, in your mind, in your spirit. So, like, how did this all change for you?
So I would love to tell you at 50, I got wiser, smarter, and I was a rocket ship and I just took off. And that is not what happened. I think
See, this is what I want. I want the
Yeah,
truth.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I would love to tell you that story, but that's not what happened. Life happened. I made a decision to leave a successful direct sales business that I built and join another great brand and company that I love, and with an expectation that I could really bring, my leadership skills and really um, help the culture of that particular business and company. And that didn't happen. It didn't work out the way I thought it would. And what's really important, and I want to talk more about this in the bigger picture, I see a lot of women when things don't work out, we bash, oh, it didn't work out because they did this, that, and the other thing. No, it just didn't work out. I
It
don't need
doesn't
to
need
take
to be
down another
bullied.
brand, people, whatever.
Mhm.
A few things didn't go well, and I would say, okay, but I own part of that. But I can't help but think it led me to open my eyes to, I knew deep in my soul I was not meant to stay in a direct sales company per se, one brand, one group. Um, so I knew I my platform is larger. I've known that. I've been told that by God. And so I just, with starting a new business, put me back into that hustle mode,
Mhm.
and I wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah.
And I soon learned, yes, this is not how I want my time to go. And at the same time, life really hit us hard. We dealt with losing both my mother. We went through an illness with her. We went through illness with my mother in law, whom I'm very close to, and then losing my father in law. So taking care of that sandwich generation of raising teens, then young adults, and taking care of parents, it's real.
It's
It
real.
is real life stuff.
Yeah.
And
And
I,
nothing prepares you for caregiving in that
yeah,
way.
and you know what? I'm grateful the company that I was with, that things didn't work out the way I thought they would. I'm grateful because it provided a ton of flexibility for
Yeah.
me to be able to be where I wanted and needed to be. So I I I just share, like, there's so much of the industry that I love that I want to be um, sharing, and the brands that I've worked for that I love that I want to share, but also that the importance as women for us to call the shots
Yes.
and to be brave enough to be like, okay, I think it's time for me to move on to the next thing and
And
following
we
that.
have to give ourselves grace with that too, because the way that we were raised, it was like, well, you go get a job and you work there until you retire or die, whatever comes first.
Hmm.
And the world
Right.
isn't like that anymore. So we have to give ourselves grace that things don't last forever, that maybe this is only something you're going to do for 6 months and there's a reason for that. And you might not see that reason until after you're done with it, you know?
Right.
And I think it's a hard thing for us to kind of accept because it's not
Absolutely.
what we've known. It's not what we've been told.
Right. And I think it's hard. There are parts of in every phase and stage and career, there are things that we absolutely love and they're hard to let go of.
Yeah, yeah,
And so I think for me, my approach is I'm not letting go, I'm taking it with me.
yes,
And
yeah.
I'm so grateful for every good experience. And I had some challenges, but there's no blaming or shaming
No, it's just part.
myself or anyone, because I'm very proud of the work that my company does and my colleagues and everything else. So it's
It's
all
just
good.
it's all part of the journey,
Right.
and, like, I just redesigned my business, and what I did was I took a program that I'd written 12 years ago, or 10 years ago, a long time ago, and I redesigned it, and I'm calling it Tried and New, because I'm taking the tried and true strategies and ideas and, things that work, and I'm merging them with what's new, and, I'm, like, sifting through it, taking the stuff, letting go of the things that don't work, and bringing the things that do along with me into the future. And it has been such a great experience because I'm actually doing like a life and business audit as I'm doing this.
I love that.
And
Yeah, that's
it
how
will
I feel. I feel like I'm on another discovery, and it's neat. And I think what, we talked about at the age of 50, what's great, I
Mhm.
feel like I'm on the other side that I love right now. Like, I am unapologetic I am just living
Mhm.
life,
Yep.
designing what that looks like for me, and doing so authentically
Yeah,
as best I can.
designing is the word because it takes the work out of it. So
Right.
now I'm gonna just flip this to the other side. What do you wish you knew at 25, and would you have listened to your own advice?
Oh, how much time do we have? No, I'm joking.
7 hours.
Um, okay, well, I am laughing. For me in particular, I would call myself like a workaholic back then, just because I wasn't the smartest, I didn't have the resources, I didn't have the network or connections. So the way that I rose above was working harder than the next person. And that's how I did well. It's how I did well putting myself through college. It's how I did well professionally. And so for me, I worked way harder than I probably needed to. So I'm not convinced that every 20 hear that, because I find this generation to be a little bit different. Maybe they don't need to hear that, but I think it's important for young women to understand this word. And it became a bad word for a little bit. And I'm bringing it back, and I'm bringing it back big time. Balance. That is not a bad word. I will hear some thought leaders, females, even moms that will say, well, balance, you can't have balance, or you can't have it all. And I propose that you can, not all the time, 100%. And I propose you can have it all when you don't do it all.
Mhm,
So the so the 25-year-old Pam, I would say, don't work as hard. I mean, I went 3 years one time without taking a vacation.
mhm.
Like I was just so focused on doing well at work. I was, I mean, I was promoted, I was recognized, I was, had perfect attendance except for being, sick or something
Burnt
that was
out.
real, but that's just not what life is about.
Yeah.
So I would go back to that 25-year-old and say, begin creating your life of balance. And also, one thing that I did do well, but I would even approach more, is like that vision, that voice inside.
Mhm,
I heard it, but I didn't always listen to it completely. And that voice and my relationship with that voice and my relationship with myself developed over time. I wished I trusted it sooner.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah, that's really good advice. Now, this is a question that I love because you are my 14th interview so far, but there's 56 people that are up on the website, and I've had lots of conversations. And the word that keeps coming up is legacy, and it's not about money; it's
Mhm.
about leaving an impact, leaving your mark. So, what is the legacy that you want to create with Living Hip? I'd love
Oh,
to hear you too.
oh, okay. So my big vision, I'm not convinced I want to do all the work to get there, but if I could do it with a team, I'm just going to say it.
You go for it.
My vision with Living Hip is huge. It is huge. It is basically Living Hip. You can look at it like, okay, the concept is we take care of ourselves first, meaning the oxygen mask,
Mhm,
the really honoring ourselves, and the whole human experience, the wholeness. So not just performance, not
mhm,
just like, work hard, be excellent. That's not what this is about. This is about discovering what you want, what you need, what makes you happy, what makes you come alive. And so having that self-care component, but it's beyond that. It's not just about you. It's about us inspiring it in each other. It's
mhm.
about us as women lifting each other up, not tearing each other down, which can happen in some circles. So I feel so strongly about that it's not just a self-care movement, it's a kindness movement.
Yeah.
Because I really believe women will change the world, but we're not going to do it until we lift each other up a little bit more. So the legacy that I see with Living Hip, or the opportunity, is really a branded spirit. a lifestyle, a way that we live. It is bigger than life is good. It's like life is good on steroids. I see a brand, I see the logo. I've worked on a few logos. We're not there yet, but literally it's how it's a framework and system that's very simple and anyone can use it, but it's really just understanding that daily practice, whatever that is for you, that helps you live your best life. And it's
Okay.
the spirit is progress over perfection.
Okay, so now I have to ask you this question because you have big goals for this, big dreams for this. In your dream, what is that piece of visibility that helps you get there? Like, what's that big break? The person who finds you, the attention that you grab. Like, what is it?
This is so funny. Well, it's always been Oprah,
Mhm.
because I've been a student of hers since sitting in my dorm room back in the 80s. Um, and interestingly enough, I did meet her. I knew I would. I used to tell my audiences all the time, I'm going to meet Oprah. And I met her, but I haven't had the connection. And I really, if it's meant to be, and I think as I get older, it's not a validation. If she's the right person, I don't know if she's the right
Mhm.
person, but she has I, re, I relate to her on a soul level. And I think she would understand this brand, and we have similar beliefs and things. So she is the first person that comes to mind. But I also know here's the big thing, Donna. I'm not waiting for anyone to come along and discover me. I'm
No,
going out there and I'm
no,
creating it.
and it wasn't even a discovery type thing. It was more of like, because the way that I view everything is through audiences. So, like, how do you like, what was the audience that you would wanna connect with that, you know, that would just see exactly what you're doing and,
Yeah.
like, just get so excited about it that it would turn it into a movement?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
I see that, like, celebrity or that, influencer. I just see that as a doorway.
Yeah. I
That's
agree. I
that's not
agree. And there's never
not
been a
to
time such
attach
as
your
this.
star onto somebody,
Right.
but it's like that's the doorway into the audience that is waiting for you.
Hmm. Yep. I love it. I love it. And I agree. There's never been a time like this.
Mm-mm.
The only reason I met Oprah was because of social media and my ability to connect with others. And um, there was a time where you couldn't do that. And so the visibility and the opportunity to get a message across has never been better. But there's a lot out there, as you know, and that's what you help women do, right? Get that message um, out there because there is a lot of noise, and I have it all. I have the content, the experience, and all of it. It's just getting it out there.
Yeah,
That is the challenge.
and getting it out there into the right audiences.
Hmm.
And that's what all of this is about because I was getting a little aggravated with the Forbes 50 over 50, and then I found out that the Forbes 30 over 50 was charging $10,000 a seat to attend their event, and I was just like, "I bet I know 50 women that are over 50 that are doing really cool things," and it took me 15 minutes to make a list.
Amazing,
And so this
amazing,
this is going to turn into 200 interviews
amazing.
and will be the wisdom revolution.
Well, I'm honored to be part of it. Thank you.
So it's and now we have the platform built, and we're gonna move into doing other things. So, I wanted to make sure we had that head snap moment when people come and find us, and now we've got it.
Awesome. I love it.
I'm so glad you're part of it. Okay, so now you mentioned something, and I wanna go a little deeper into it. And I saw this on your website that you believe that women leaders are the ones who will change the world. So expand upon that a bit.
I just I just so believe in the power of women. And I mean, I love men. I'm married to one, and I've got two sons who I just adore. Um, and I think I am partial to mothers because I think it's the hardest thing ever to be a mom and to balance a career. It is your life changes and your identity, and that never changes. I mean, you're always, once you have that baby, you're, even when they grow up and they leave the nest, they are in your heart and in your mind constantly. It's just part of, it's a body part in a way. And so I just think that we are incredible. Just what we do. It goes so unnoticed, but it's pretty miraculous. And the love and the passion and the ability to just do it is there.
Yeah.
So I think when we really focus that energy, that love, that light, that teamwork, if you will, meaning, I could never do anything alone as a woman. I only operate well on a team. And I'm as good as the person next to me. And the more I invest in them and lift them up, the we all go higher. And so I think there's so much power in that. And I've experienced it personally in my life and in business and on teams and mentoring others. And I've had a mentor that has done that. And it's very powerful. And I think once we are able to do that more and less of the competing, comparing, and the things that happen in women's circles too,
Yes.
that's when we're going to change the world.
Yeah.
That's just like, that's all the JV stuff. You know what I mean? When we need to, just compete, compare, whatever it is. And it just happens in circles. It's, sometimes it's not intentional, other times it is. And it is damaging. And, just the mummy circles, whether you're working, you're a stay at home, whether you're breastfeeding or not, or this, I mean, there's so many things, differences of opinions. And can we just all just not worry about what others are doing, not judge others, and just not compare, and just, good for you. Good for you. And when we accept that and we just hold hands and we move forward in a positive direction, it's all about attitude and acceptance and just having that spirit of collaboration. It's powerful. And I really, really believe once that really clicks, I know it clicks in a lot of circles, but once it really clicks in a movement, we will change the world. We will bring, and our world needs it now more than ever. It needs the
Oh,
love. It needs the care. It needs the voice. It needs the change. And it needs the disruption.
yeah.
And that's what I believe we can do and we need to do for the next generation.
Yeah, I agree, and I also would like to add to that that you had mentioned this earlier as well, that we have a responsibility, and I really feel that deeply because we are going to experience change like we've never experienced before in the next couple of years,
Mhm.
and so many of the things that we experienced growing up and becoming adults and in work and life and family and community are just going to go away. And some of them rightly should go away, many
Mhm.
of them, but some of those things need to move forward. And if we don't bring that history with us forward, we're going to lose like a big piece of humanity. And I really do
Oh,
feel like it's our
and
responsibility to bring that forward.
it's timeless.
Yeah.
It's wisdom.
Yes.
It doesn't go out of style.
And
It is so important. It's that human element and that connection that we cannot lose.
yes.
Agreed.
Yeah, because I mean, like, I've got a son who's about to turn 21, and, like, I had to teach him how to do a handshake and, like, look people in the eye, and they're
No.
just not raised with this anymore, and, um, I mean, there's so many qualities that they have that we didn't have that is just incredible. Like, they stand up for themselves. They understand that they should not get stuck in some place that isn't right for them, and, there are just, like, so many different things that are just wonderful about how they're showing up in the world as adults. And then there are parts that I see like, oh, we had that and we're letting it go, it's slipping away. And I mean, that's part of this too, is I want to create this legacy of stories that women that are younger than us and men too, that that tap into, and they understand and they learn. And what's been really fun is like younger women are approaching me and introducing me to women that they know that are older, and they're like, "I know I can't be part of this, but you've gotta meet this woman."
Oh, that's great. I love that.
And one of the things that I want to roll into this, like, as we're kind of getting into, getting out of the building phase is, um, as women turn 50, I wanna welcome them in and have birthday parties for them, like, "Welcome to the other side."
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's such a great time, and, it is a time for me, I just feel an exhale that feels really good, and I'm excited about that, and, um, it's that nice time.
Yeah, I like that. I like that because it feels like there's stuff that we've been carrying that we don't need to carry anymore, and it's like, let's really roll up our sleeves and do the stuff that's important.
Mhm.
So, any last words?
No, I just, this is an honor. Thank you, Donna. This is so great, and I just really hope that, the rest of the women link arms with us as we our generations and generations, and all of us. It's not just about an age. It's
No.
it's about having a spirit, a vision, an open mind, a positive, um, sense of teamwork and collaboration to just lift each other up.
Yeah.
Just lift each other up, but begin with you.
Yes.
That's the most important relationship we all need to build, is the one we have with ourselves.
That is a perfect note to end on. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your stories, your wisdom, your experience. And we will be actually go to Pam's website, livinghip.com, and learn more. You could also learn more about her on the Real 50 Over 50 website. And be sure to come back every Wednesday at noon Eastern Time and check out the replays, post, tag us, connect with us. We've got stuff to say. Thank you.
Thank you.